And I said them, the final fatal words. Oh God. I don't know. Like, Irie right over here seems like such a nice guy. I wanna trust him. But at the same time, you telling someone that you murdered someone? Like, the day after you did the deed? That's like a new record.
サトコの王子を殺していたからです。
I could smell the concrete in the room. I could feel the air around us sharpen. Nobody moved. Only the sound of the clock ticking told us time hadn't stopped. With his mouth wide open, Coach even forgot to blink for a little while. And the sad thing is, yet again, a little bit of mistrust in his friends. He told Irie of all people before he told his best friends, Rena, Mion, Satoko, or Rika. Irie, who we barely know that much about.
あなたがサトコちゃんのおじさんを
Yeah, it's fine now, Keiichi Maebara. Don't hesitate. Admit it, with all your strength.
はい。俺が昨日の夜殺しました。
I spoke clearly and fluidly. I could easily tell that Coach's mind had gone completely blank.
どうしてそんなことを。いえ、それは愚問ですね。サトコを救う最も直接的な方法だと考えるに至り実行しました。後悔はわずかもありません。そうですか。
Coach smiled thinly and nodded a bit.
だから俺は祭りの会場にいるわけがないんです。
I left the brightness of my house for the darkness of the outside. After that, I dug holes, made phone calls. I had my hands full. And then I attacked him, killed him, and buried him. I mean, he's thinking, why would you? What a foolish question. I mean, like, the answer to why would definitely be obvious, even in Irie's eyes. He was pouring hard at the time. The festival started that evening, but was suspended due to the rain. There were no gaps in my memories. From the late afternoon until it started to rain, there was no time for me to possibly have gone to the festival.
その体中の傷はその時に。そうです。サトコの家を少し行ったところに林道がありますよね。あそこで襲い、逃げるあいつを追い、町に至る一本道で殺すに至りました。それは本当に
Killing her uncle. It wasn't some wild fantasy. I could tell that Coach didn't believe me. So I spoke slowly, not letting myself grow excited.
本当です。サトシのバットで殴り殺しました。そのバットはあいつが乗ってきたバイクと一緒に沼に捨てました。死体は殺した場所に穴を掘り埋めました。すべて自分が一人でやりました。サトコちゃんのおじはバイクで通りかかったんですね。ではあなたはそれを期待して延々と待ち伏せを。あいつが家から出ないことは想定していました。だから電話で適当な嘘を喋ってあいつが出かけるように仕向けました。電話で呼び出した。でもあなたの家とサトコちゃんの家は離れています。 電話をしてからではとても待ち伏せに間に合わないのでは。襲撃予定場所から最も近い電話として学校の電話を使いました。でも前原さん、当日は日曜日です。学校には施錠がされていて入れないのでは。偶然その時営林署の人が中に出入りしたんです。その隙に入りました。
After that, Coach grilled me on a few different things regarding the incident. He made sure to question me carefully, looking for any contradictions in my account.
信じましょう。あなたが昨日したことは夢とは思えない。
I explained everything, including minor details that only someone who had actually committed the act could explain. I could, of course. It was only yesterday. Coach realized that my story had no expedient coincidences or too convenient details that would have existed in a daydream or a delusion. He finally seemed to want to believe me. Now granted, the first person from yesterday going to school and leaving us an opening for us to go inside and make the phone call, that seems like quite a miracle for us. But,
これでもまだ俺が記憶をなくして祭り会場に行ったと思いますか？
Coach slowly shook his head.
でもクラスのみんなが昨日確かに俺が祭りにいたと言います。そんなことがあり得るでしょうか？あるわけがない。きっとクラスの皆さんはあなたによく似た誰かとあなたを見間違えたのでしょう。それに集団心理が働いて皆さんはあなたがお祭りにいたと錯覚してしまっているに違いありません。
They couldn't have mistaken me. Me and all the rest said they were spending time with Keiichi Maibara. It was much more than just having mistaken someone else for me. That and the way that they described Keiichi and what they did, assuming that what they said were true, it was very Keiichi Maibara, including the multiple guns being used at the same time to shoot, like the giant stuffed animal. So whoever it would be that would pretend to be Keiichi, they did a freaking good job. Which kind of begs the question if that would truly be Satoshi in the first place. But again, parallel theory, whatever. Other than that, there's nobody who would be able to replace Keiichi 100%. So either it's Satoshi or it could not have been true. But saying that out loud would just confuse Coach. He spoke to me in whispered tones. 罪の意識はあるんですか? It didn't sound like he was criticizing me. And even if he had, I would have flatly said the same thing.
ありません。あいつのいなかった平穏な時間を取り戻すために行いました。だから、俺はあいつを殺したことなんかさっさと忘れて、これまで通りに生活するつもりです。あいつが現れる前、聡子がいつも見せてくれたあの笑顔が戻った時、ようやく全ては終わります。犯行を誰かに目撃されたということはないと思います。目撃されてればもうとっくに逮捕されてるでしょうから。私は医者です。人の命を救う職にあります。だから私から人間の命を奪うことを肯定する旨の発言はできません。だから私はあなたにこう言います。
Coach slowly rose and placed a hand on my shoulder.
聡子ちゃんを救ってくれてありがとう。
Coach's eyes started shedding warm tears. When I looked at him, I started to feel some tears of my own. didn't know what I was crying for. And so, for a little while, the two men in the room fought back their tears.
でも、おかしいんです。
おかしいとは？
確かに殺したはずなのに、あの男は生きて家に帰ったらしいんです。
Coach's expression immediately sharpened. Okay, well, I gotta say this. Idiot crying after hearing all this, like, it does tell me that he cares a lot about Satoko. Like, if it wasn't clear before, now it is a lot more clear that he does care. And I get the feeling that he is gonna hide the murder as well, now that he knows. Now, whether my ideas about Keiichi being cursed and him finding out and Irie making a report that Keiichi has the curse, thus people in business suits and the white van would appear once again, I feel like that's a completely different story. I don't know. But about Satoko and all that, he does care.
状況にもよりますが、気絶や仮死状態など、素人が見ると死んだようにしか見えない状態もいくつかあります。その可能性は？
脈を取ったわけではありませんが、確実に仕留めたと思います。
前原さんが襲った時の状況を再現してもらってもいいですか？
Coach rolled up a Health and Fitness Week poster nearby and offered it to me to represent the bat. Though I may have been lost to the emotions of a beast that night, I remembered in detail the number of times I swung the bat, the angles I had swung from, and the force I had applied. I mean, I guess if you really wanted to make sure that Teppei is dead, you could have just hit him so hard, like you snap like the neck, like really hard. Like, just to make 100% sure, just rip the head like entirely from the body. Using Coach as a stand-in for the uncle, I reproduced them over, one by one.
そしてあいつが足を取られてよろめいた時、脳天にこう叩きつけました。その時、これまでとは違った手応えがありました。頭蓋骨が割れたんだと思いました。
Coach was calmly analyzing this information, using the places that struck and the situation at hand to find out what state the uncle's body had been in.
そして死んだかどうか自信が持てなかったので、倒れた後も何度か殴りつけました。
その時の反応は？
初めは殴るたびに体が跳ねるような感じがありましたが、やがてそれもなくなり、何の反応もなくなりました。
Coach folded his arms and said, a few times. And then he spoke.
死んでいます。ほぼ間違いなく。
それは仮死状態ではなく？
前原さんの話からだけではなかなか判断がつきませんが、ほぼ確実だと思います。それに前原さんは死体を泥の中に埋め、結構な時間をかけて埋めていますよね。仮に30分で埋めたとして、その男は30分間も泥水に沈められていたことになります。それだけの時間、呼吸が止められたら確実に脳死します。
That is true.
殴った強さ以前に埋める過程で確実に絶命したと。
そういうことです。30分間泥に埋められていて生きていられる人などありえません。
ありえないですよね。でも聡子は生きてると。
Coach, a doctor, just gave his stamp of approval that he was dead for sure. That made it seem all the more unfair that he could still be among the living.
前原さん。これは、とても恐ろしい想像なのですが、前原さんが殺した相手が、叔父でなく、別人である可能性は。
I did think that, yeah.
え？
He's right. That could be why. He cleared up the inconsistency of my definitely having killed someone, but him still being alive.
そんなはずはない。だってほら、監督と一緒に里子の家の前で酒瓶の袋を運んだ時、窓から顔を出した男がいたじゃないですか。あいつですよね。
That is true. Otherwise, if it wasn't that moment, we wouldn't have known how Teppei looked like.
里子のおじは。
ええ、間違いありませんよ。あの男です。
実はもう一人おじがいるなんてことは。
I mean, don't tell me that he actually had a twin or something.
聞いたことがありません。あの男だけです。
あいつの特徴を教えてもらえますか？
まず身長がですね、175、もう少しあるかもしれません。
In order to eliminate the worst possibility that I killed someone else, Coach began to thoroughly compare what the man in his mind looked like with what I told him the person I killed looked like. But no matter how in-depth my description went, none of the characteristics differed. The uncle's traits, according to Coach, were all exactly the same as the person I killed. But those traits were all extremely vague, and they weren't particularly distinct at a glance.
もっとこう、絶対にあいつだと識別できる特徴はありませんか？
Well, actually, hold on a second. His height, about 175 centimeters. Okay, well, the idea would be for Irie to tell the characteristics first, and then Keiichi would agree. Yeah, exactly the same. Because that way, if Keiichi were to be the one to say the characteristics first, and then Irie would say that, yeah, I agree, that wouldn't be as helpful. Like, maybe he would lie and say that it was. But him saying it first, that's good.
そういえば、私は見たことありませんが、聡子ちゃんが昔、背中に虎だかなんだかの入れ墨がある、なんて言っていたような気がします。
入れ墨？
That was really important. Not everyone had a tattoo. If I found a tiger tattoo on the back of the man's corpse, it would be proof I'd killed the right one. At the moment, though, there was one other thing that would verify this. To go to Satoko's house and see for myself the uncle that had returned home despite having died. Yes, do that, Keiichi. Also, if you want to think about it, you could just go to the location of the buried corpse. I mean, you should remember, in my eyes. You should be able to find it easily. Yourself, that is. And verify if the corpse is there. That would be like an ultimate way of proving it. But Satoko's house would definitely be good. Also, okay, you know what? I am reminded of this as well. It was during the tips, when we were looking at the things from the police's perspective. They did mention that the uncle left the house on a motorcycle. That much is clear. That is evidence towards Teppei going out there and being dead. Otherwise, he would have no reason to just go out if he wasn't called by Keiichi to get murdered. He would have stayed home in that case. But that was far more terrifying than digging up the body and looking at its back. Without even looking at the tattoo, I knew for sure the one I killed had been Satoko's uncle. I cracked his head open and killed him, and yet he'd gone back home. There wasn't any misunderstanding, or even the shadow of a doubt in my mind about having killed him. And yet, it was impossible for him to exist. Kinda like how Keiichi and Maebara had been at the festival, despite it being impossible. That small commonality made me feel as though a faint but bizarre force was permeating this insane Hinamizawa.
一体どういうことなのでしょう。前原さんはお祭りには行かず、聡子ちゃんのおじさんを殺していたにもかかわらず、お祭りにはあなたがいて、そして殺したはずのおじさんも生きている。
何がなんだかさっぱりわからないです。そうやって整理して言うと、まるで俺が悪い夢を見ていて、実は殺人なんて存在しなかったんじゃないかと思えてしまう。でも事実なんです。この手でバットでガツンガツンと殴ったあの感触は絶対に夢や幻なんかじゃないんです。
Coach held a slow sigh, then after looking at the clock, got up.
ちょっとこの話、もう少し真剣にやりましょう。ちょっと失礼して、紅茶でも入れてきてあげます。診療所も終わりの時間ですからね。
Alright.
ジムの方とかも返してあげないと。
Coach stood up and went out into the hallway, leaving me alone. The clock was about to strike 6. I was at the festival, and the uncle I'd killed was alive. Had I really committed murder yesterday? The only whisper of a fact that proved it happened was the absence of that bat from Satoshi's locker. In any case, I was glad that Coach had taken my nonsense seriously. I just confessed to murder. Normally that would frighten a person away. But Coach didn't run. He cried with me. I was glad he did. Like so, my tension smoothly melted away, and I suddenly realized I really had to urinate. I thought to use the restroom while Coach had stepped out. There was one across from the waiting room. Alright. Since I left the room, I saw Coach and the two male doctors wearing white clothing standing in the shadows of the hallway nearby. I didn't particularly intend to eavesdrop or anything, but I was quite surprised about noticing how uneasy they seemed. Can you eavesdrop a little bit, maybe, Keiichi? I hid behind the wall and quietly listened in. Oh. Okay. Let's see. It seemed like Coach was giving directions to the two doctors.
紅茶ですね。用意します。
睡眠導入剤を入れて、種類は任せます。
Sedative.
味はミルクと砂糖でごまかしてください。
急激な眠気に不信感を抱く可能性もあります。興奮状態に陥って暴れ出す可能性も。
その場合は取り押さえましょう。男性スタッフはまだ何人か残ってますか？
山犬が1人。それに私たちを含めて3人です。
What was all this? Oh god. Okay, well, there are two options for this. Both are bad. Either this is because of my theories about the curse taking effect, and now they're taking action, in a similar case to what I was talking about in the first investigation video. That or they found out that somebody got murdered and this kid is the one who did it. They're gonna think that this kid went complete bonkers, so they have to take him down with a sedative and arrest him. Either way, this is bad, Keiichi. I think I was already agitated, despite what Coach said. Experimentation or being arrested, being taken away by secret organizations or being arrested for this, it's not good. Not good. Was that it? Was it just a casual conversation? And it was only sounding unbelievable to me? Coach said he would bring some black tea and left the room. And then, in the shadows, he was telling his subordinates to put some kind of sleeping powder in tea? Plus, they were getting extra help, in case I thought the sudden sleepiness was suspicious and started getting violent. Hey, wait, Keiichi, my brother. Calm down. Calm down. There's no way something this stupid could be happening. I mean, he was genuinely listening to my story, and he even cried with me. Yeah, there is no doubt that he cried and he cared about Satoko, but you still murdered somebody, Keiichi. And there may be some other extra details that may be behind the scenes that you're not aware of, that makes this the inevitable action that he has to take. Even if he cared about Satoko and maybe he wanted something like this to happen, it's still bad. I thought he was the one person in Hinamizawa who would understand. This was... I mean, he also would have to cry about the fact that you, Keiichi, had done this deed.
作り話か虚言の兆候があり、特に昨日の記憶が完全に混乱。虚実の区別の喪失。多重人格等の精神障害に酷似しています。でも、こんな急激な精神障害の発症は普通では考えられません。あるいは先天的、もしくは引っ越し前からそういう兆候があったのか。引っ越し前に精神科に通院例がないか調べたいところです。とにかく前原さんには穏便にお休みいただきます。
The two doctors nodded deeply.
前原さんのご両親にも連絡しておいた方が良いですね。何と言えばいいか言葉が思いつきませんが、彼の自宅の電話番号を調べてください。
My eyes, still moist, began to shed tears once more. Either way, Keiichi, this is bad. You cannot stay here anymore. Like, if you are to stay here and take that, it's game over. You're not going to be able to do anything anymore. Like, the story of the chapter is going to end. You have to run away. You have to go to Satoko's house and see if Teppei is there or not. You have to see it. That, or you go back to where you buried the body and see if the body is still there. You have to do those. You have to do one or the other, or both, preferably. This was too cruel. I mean, if the body is still there, if you were to check the body where you dug, that would be conclusive evidence. If you were to check Satoko's house, like again, the curse, like the illness, like whatever it is, it may still take effect, and you may see things that are not actually true. Like, maybe you are gonna end up seeing Teppei there, even though realistically he's not there. Maybe you're gonna start having like hallucinations. So, like, if you were to go to Satoko's like house, we gotta pay attention to details. See if things are according to real life or not. I really thought he had actually understood and had believed what I told him. But now, from the other side of the wall, he was bluntly treating me like a crazy person. I believed you. I believed you. I let down my guard because I thought you were the only ally I had left after that insane night. Was that a lie? All that about thanking me on Satoko's behalf? Were you just pretending in order to keep me placated? No, I think that particular part is still true, Keiichi. My tears fell to the floor in frustration. I was an idiot. I was Such an idiot. For believing that bastard. I heard footsteps approaching the doctors. A man in a dress shirt with no tie came running up.
入江先生、大変です。高野さんが見つかりました。
Oh god.
高野さんが一体どこに？
それが山中で焼死体で発見されたらしく。
死んだ？高野さんがですか？
The men, all surprised, exchanged glances. Dead? Takano-san? Hey, wait. So then, does that mean when I cursed her, wishing for her death, that wish was granted?
焼死とは一体どういうことですか？
I mean, let's not forget about her corpse being burned. In similar fashion to how Keiichi wished, like last night, for her to burn. That's gonna mess with your head a little bit, Keiichi.
それは事故ですか？
県警の発表では他殺の可能性が極めて高いと。
It's as if Oyashiro is laughing at you. Well, you didn't do the murder, but they were killed in the exact same way that you wanted, Keiichi. As I cried, I laughed quietly. Serves you right. Serves you right. If I hadn't run into that woman, my mother would have been perfect. But she just had to come driving up to me and try to coerce me like that. I regretted not having killed her on the spot. But now she was dead anyway. My curse, my wish for her demise, it was fulfilled. Serves you right. Keiichi, you wishing death on someone like this, it breaks me. Serves you right.
リサさんが死に、高野さんが死に、一体ひなみ沢には何が起こっているというんですか？
Risa-san. Could he be that idiot in you, Risa? Like, he's talking about Risa as if he knew her.
まさか、これが今年のお社様のたたりだ、なんて言うんじゃないでしょうね。
Like hell I let the curse be real, Coach said. Everyone present just nodded as Coach cursed at no one in particular. Yes, maybe it wasn't Oyashiro-sama. But this was definitely a spell. A curse. I wished for her to die. So she did. If this wasn't just a coincidence, and she died because I wished for it, then you'll die next, Coach. Keiichi, please don't. You betrayed me. You pretended to believe me. But deep down you thought I was a madman. You looked down on me with all that pity in your eyes.
では、とりあえず紅茶の準備を。紅茶は私が持って入ります。私以外には彼は心を許さないようですからね。
Shit. What do I do? What do I do, Keiichi, my brother? You gotta run away, Keiichi. We gotta run away. This time I heard the voice of a nurse.
入江先生。あ、いらっしゃいましたか。お電話です。
今ちょっと忙しいので、後でかけ直すと伝えてください。誰からです？
沖宮警察の大石様ですけど。
Oh my god. Oishi!
あっちゃー。悪いタイミングですね。出ます。
Coach left to go answer the phone. The other men headed towards the room with the teapot to make the black tea, like Coach had ordered them to. Fortunately, Coach having to take that phone call meant there would be extra time for me to act. I had to decide what to do now. Would I let him make me drink the sedative-infused tea, or be held down and thrown into a mental hospital? Nothing would come from starting a brawl here. They had more people anyway, and they were all bigger than me. if it came to a fight, I didn't stand a chance in hell. If I couldn't win against them, then there was only one thing left to do. Run. Adrenaline suddenly rushed into my brain, and my body started to move with keen instinct, like it had on that night. My surface temperature quickly cooled, and the transmission routes between my selves enlarged. Using 360-degree visual information, I searched for an escape route. Oh god. Oh well. Keiichi is transcending yet again. Let's see if we're gonna be able to escape this room in 1,500 seconds. I would open the window behind me. Outside was a parking lot. There were no cars. A little beyond there was the bicycle I had taken to get there. I determined that this would be the quickest method of escape. I approached the window swiftly, but with little sound, to raise as little suspicion as I could. With the speed and silence of a shadow, like I had on that night I chased her uncle. I unlocked the window and opened it up, okay? A cool evening breeze wafted in. I stuck my head out and looked over the parking lot again. Nobody in sight. No need to hesitate. I quietly crawled outside and closed the window behind me. I held my breath and listened carefully. Nobody seemed to have realized I had run. I looked around. Then I jumped onto my bicycle and zoomed away. Alright, let's go. The pedals clattered under the force. Had my bike always creak like this? Did the pedals always whine every time I pushed down on them? My bike wasn't the only one crying though. My tears fell as the wind cut through them. They rolled the breeze and scared it behind me. Gah. I hate this. I hate this. I'm not the crazy one. Hinamizawa is. How dare you treat me like a madman? Die. Die. Just fucking die already. I believed you. I believed you. Ah! I had gone to the hospital in order to escape Rina and Mion's invitation. But the reality that was waiting for me had been too cruel. Who was insane? Me or Hinamizawa? Or was the answer something else? I started having trouble breathing. I didn't have any clue what was happening anymore. The loud chirps of the Higurashi were irritating me. The freaking Higurashis! Were even the Hinamizawa Higurashi I knew so well calling into the wind? No, that wasn't quite it. They weren't calling. They were crying. The pained wailing of those lost in some kind of rhythm. In another world, no longer able to return to their own sunlight. I didn't do all that to end up in a world like that. And actually, at about this time, I might have been having fun with everyone else. Satoko would have gotten her smile back after realizing her uncle would never come home. And she might have shown it to us at our first club meeting in a while. And that was the kind of world I wished for. So, what was this? Why did I end up in such a strange, ghastly world? Someone I killed was living like normal, and I enjoyed myself at the festival despite not being there. I don't want it. I don't want this strange world. When did it start to go wrong? When? When? No matter how much I thought about it, I never understood. You can question it all day, Keiichi. We gotta go here and make some action here. We gotta go to Satoko's house, or we go to the buried place. I rode swiftly and returned to my home. God damn it! It had begun to rain during my journey back, and just like yesterday, I was now soaked. But I didn't care about something so trivial right now. The pain I felt in my heart that Coach, the one person I trusted, was acting so cruelly, was far worse. Did I have no allies in Hinamizawa anymore? With a naive thought, that I at least wanted my parents to side with me. I stepped up to the front door. Oh. Okay, well, I admit a child's instinct to go to their parents' side when they feel overwhelmed, it can still hit you, Keiichi. I guess I can understand that, at least. Wait, Keiichi. It'll be dark soon. There's something you want to check, right? Yes. I wanted to dig up the man's corpse and get a look at his back. If there was a tiger tattoo there, I would know beyond a doubt he was Satoko's uncle. That long night wouldn't end until I was certain. If this insane world was all reparation, all a divine punishment, then I needed to make certain whether I had been successful enough to even deserve to pay that price. I went to the storage room again and got a shovel. It had been washed in the rain, but the paint was peeling, making it look unsightly. I guess it's also good that it started raining. It will be easy to dig up the corpse yet again. I never ever wanted to touch this thing again. The sensation of it in my hands was totally different from the night before. There was a ruthless coldness about it. Yeah, you'll be dark soon, so I need a lantern too. There will be a little bit of light from the streetlights, but you'll get extremely dark. I thought I put the lantern here, but I suddenly noticed it wasn't anywhere to be found. Then it hit me like a bolt of lightning. Of course, on that night, I hadn't brought the lantern back with me. I left it at the place I buried the body. If I didn't go to get it soon, it would get very dark. And then not only would I be unable to find the spot I buried the corpse, but I wouldn't be able to find the lantern itself. Oh god. Don't tell me that we're gonna have to wait until morning. If that happened, it was all over.
急ごう。
In order to fit the shovel in the basket on front of my bike, I need to twist it and disassemble it. But it looked like there was dirt in the joints, and no matter how hard I pushed, it didn't want to come apart. You gotta be kidding me. After a strenuous effort, I realized I couldn't get it apart. So I decided to hold it in one hand and ride my bike with the other. Oh god. Don't tell me that's gonna fuck us up if somebody's gonna find us with a shovel. With the downpour soaking me through, and a shovel in one hand. And riding one-handed, it was as if I returned to that night. No, return was the wrong word. It was more like that night had never ended. The pain of the raindrops striking me were no different from them. The thing that was different was Hinamizawa, the road, and nothing else. The rain clouds were already making it dark, and now was about time for the sun to set. I could tell it would only get rapidly darker. The straight road leading to town. In the middle of it, that should be where I buried it. Yes, it was near that streetlight. On that night too, the water from the downpour was splashing down from the streetlight's overhang like a waterfall. The pouring rain was exactly the same as it had been that night, and this had brought my memories into focus. I left my bike in the bush and stepped into the forest, the ground already soaked with mud. Where I buried him. Think. The darkness, the shadows, the water, the mud. Everything was the same. Think. And then I spotted a lantern by a fallen, moss-covered tree. Okay, that's right. I left it right there. If I left the lantern here, then I would have buried him over here. Okay, good. Like, imagine if we never managed to find the buried place. Like, That would have been concrete evidence that we wouldn't have been able to find before the end of this. Because now we're on a time limit here, Keiichi. Like, I don't know. Like, people are gonna come after you from now on, Keiichi. This feels like a really, really sad end to you, Keiichi. Like, I'm very, very sorry about this. Yeah, just... Like, you have to do this before the inevitable end that you're gonna get caught. Like, that, or you're gonna have to end up disappearing the same way as Satoshi, with the sensation of standing in the sludge. My feet remembered the spot better than my eyes did. I plunged my shovel into the ground. It's hard. He wasn't here. I just dug it up, so it should have been softer. I stick my shovel down in a few spots to test what they feel like. One of them clearly felt deeper. I recalled where the lantern was, where the trees and things were in relation to each other. I knew that they had to be here. Under here slept that man's corpse. There would definitely be the tattoo of a tiger on his back. But if it wasn't there, then I had made a horrible mistake and killed someone completely unrelated instead. I'd be more dazed at the fact that Satoko's uncle wasn't dead than I would regret having gotten someone else mixed up in this. If this insane road was punishment for the sin of committing murder, I wouldn't be able to accept it until I killed Satoko's uncle for good. And then, without any fear, I'd attack him again. And that time, I would kill him for sure. But what if the tattoo was there? That would mean I killed Satoko's uncle. That would be terribly strange. If I killed him for sure, then who was the uncle at Satoko's house this very moment? Impossible. I didn't even know anymore what I was using the word impossible to refer to. I've used the wording quite a few times today. If I had to make the words impossible fit just one thing, what would it be? That much was obvious to me.
こんなおかしな世界がありえてたまるかよ
I shouted, then turned behind me. There was nobody there, of course. So far from what I've seen these past chapters, this truly is a strange world indeed. I cannot deny it, Keiichi. It hadn't been bothering me for a while, but those footsteps had followed me this entire day. Even just now, an extra set of footsteps had stashed behind me. No one was actually there. No indications of anyone new. Frickin' footsteps. Frickin' demons. But they were there.
あんたは誰だ俺がこっちの世界に来てからずっとついてくるな
Like, even I feel like I'm starting to lose my mind here with this. But I gotta keep it cool. That's right. Thinking back, the first time I heard those footsteps was after Takano-san and I had parted. Like, I've seen so many fucked up situations in the past. So many things that one would deem impossible. This stuff is nothing. We are gonna solve this. Those footsteps were my welcome into the strange inside-out world. Yeah, I can see you fucked up Higurashi world. Trying to confuse me left and right with all this. But we are gonna get to the bottom of this. This may be another sad end to Keiichi, but we're gonna get to the bottom of this. Knock could be there. I get no response. Whoever it was, and they just kept staring at me. It wasn't ominous, just unpleasant. After staring into empty space for a bit, as I bathed in the rain, my illogical anger slipped away. My tension loosened, and a tired feeling reared its head. I tasted this feeling that night too. the sudden exhaustion I felt as the tension in my brain loosened. My vision quickly narrowed. It felt like everything around me had suddenly gotten darker. I couldn't give in to this sensation. Not yet, Keiichi. Like, soon enough, they're gonna start searching this forest as well. They're gonna arrive soon enough. I will light what little explosives were left in my brain and force myself to keep going. I needed to dig that man up before my stamina ran out. I needed to see the tattoo on his back. I caught my suddenly ragged breath and calmed down. Then, I stuck the shovel into the soft, muddy ground again. It felt exactly the same as that night. The sense of digging a hole in the beach, with water coming into it with every wave. What day was today? Had I gone back to the night of Watanagashi? Every strange thought that came to mind tormented me. Given my exhaustion, I didn't think I could manage to hold those thoughts back. Once the hole was deep, all illumination finally faded, blanketing my vision in jet black. It was probably the moment the sun had fully set too. That night, I feared the worst, and gone without using much light. My senses were so strained that I could see even in that darkness. But now, I didn't have that kind of strength left. I drained everything I had last night, and now the darkness would be lethal. I decided to turn on the lantern. Putting it on the first setting would make it give off a faint light. Even with how little there was, it was enough, and people wouldn't be able to see it from far away in this rain. Yeah, it would be difficult for the police to search through the rain, like especially right now in the forest. I grabbed the chilled lantern, turned the dial with a click, set it to the weakest light setting, and turned it on. An uncanny world of silhouettes appeared before me. A complex and strange shadowy world, created by the intricate entanglement of trees and branches. I only turned on a light. It was like that was all it took to make the world into something else. I let out a quick tired breath and wiped the liquid, neither rain nor sweat, from my brow. Oh god, don't tell me that those shadowy silhouettes are the police, if they found you. Then I raised the shovel into the air and slammed it into the mud. That moment, the silhouettes surrounding me ominously all moved at once. Either it's the police or it's the curse, like the illness starting to take effect again. Like Keiichi's mind is starting to go crazy even more, like silhouettes popping in inside my head. Something packed in there, something coarse but not hot or cold, was loudly rushing about. The silhouettes were all around me, looking down at me. And one of them, a silhouette bigger than the others, stepped forward. Oh god, please don't tell me that Keiichi got found here.
こんばんは。
Good evening. Oishi.
月の綺麗な晩ですね。
Huh. You're like the second person to tell us that. And the second time that it feels ominous when someone says it. The coarseness in my brain shot through my whole spine, and it left me at my waist. Oishi, can you please give us a moment to dig up the corpse and check something before you take us to the station, at least? Please? We want to check something for a little bit. I beg you. The strength of my body all left me through my hips, and I crashed down with a splash into the sea of mud I dug myself. Oh, Oishi, can you please do us this favor? I mean, with such a big, handsome man like yourself being here like this, you wouldn't disappoint us by not letting us dig up this corpse, right?
おいし。
目上の人にはその後に3もつけるとなおよろしいかと思いますよ。
God, Oishi?
そうでないと大人になってからいろいろと苦労します。
He wasn't only Oishi, but 5 or 6 of them in a row. Men wearing raincoats. God damn it. Why did I have to be right? Like when Keiichi was thinking about shadowy silhouettes or something like that, my mind immediately popped to people being there. Like, I was really hoping that it was just the trees and such, but god damn it. Like, I knew that the police were gonna start searching the forest, now that we told Irie that we killed, like, Teppei in the forest. I had no inkling that this many people had gone so close. I didn't think that they would be able to find us that fast. It was like, once I turned on the lantern, they just appeared there, sliding out of the shadows.
どうぞ、私たちのことは気にしないでください。森の木立だとでも思って。
Unless they were already, like, they already found the body before Keiichi arrived. And they were just hiding in place for Keiichi to come here. Yeah, they would act fast. I mean, Keiichi had to go home and then come here. That would take some time. I guess the police would find the place of the bird corpse, especially because of the lantern. That's more than likely what made the police succeed in finding the corpse. It was the lantern. Don't mind them?
そうです。私たちのことは気にされず、どうぞ穴掘りをお続けになってください。
Thank you, Oishi-san. Oh, my AC god. Please, just let us dig the hole a little bit. I want to see at least one detail.
こんな時間にこんな土砂降りの中で、そんなにも真剣にやっているんですからね。邪魔なんかしませんよ。心ゆくまで掘っちゃってください。
No, thank you, I said. When I tried to get up and turn around, 2 men blocked that route. They stood on either side of me and lifted me up with amazing strength, then threw me into the sea of mud. God damn it. As I soaked in the mud bath, I dug for myself. I looked up at the silhouettes looking down at me. Oishi squatted, picked up my shovel, and threw it at my feet for me. It bounced loudly off the mud and hit me in the face. Ow!
ほら、続きをどうぞ。続きを。
I couldn't bear the oppressiveness of the silhouettes surrounding me, and slowly, I stuck the shovel into the mud again. Felt like I was digging my own grave. Might as well. Again, the metaphor. You already have your shovel. If I kept digging, you matter whether there was a... If I kept digging, it wouldn't matter whether there was a tattoo or not. Because that man's corpse would appear eventually. It was all over, surrounded on all sides, and nowhere to go. But I just couldn't figure it out, no matter how much I thought about it. Why were they here? Was it Takano-san? There was only one person who could have made the connection between me and this place. Shit. I knew it. She deserved to die.
手が休んでますよ。
Bam. Oishi kicked me in the back, which took me by surprise, sending me flying into the mud. There was only one person who could have... I get the feeling that Irie would have made the connection too, wouldn't he?
ちゃっちゃと掘っちゃってくださいよ。雨の中で待たされる方の身にもなってほしいもんですし。
くそ、そんなに雨が嫌なら帰ればいいだろう。
Oishi kicked some mud into my face. Well, I guess so. Maybe ultimately it kind of depends on the relationship that Irie and Oishi have. They seem to be enemies. I don't know. Could it be that either it's the false that I had in the investigation video and Irie is only tried to restrain him and put him to sleep to do experiments when it comes to the Oyashiro curse, but at the same time they did not want to report him to the police. There you go. Sorry, my English can be a little bit bad sometimes. But they did not want to report him to the police, which would mean that Irie would not tell Oishi on the phone about the murder. Or they would also report to the police, in which case Oishi would know the location. In which case, either Oishi learned about the location by themselves, maybe they searched the forest by themselves and found the place, like easily, after last night. Or he was told by Irie, or he was told by Takano. Like, it kind of makes me question if Irie is part of the secret organization with experimenting and all that, in which case he would hide it from the police, obviously. Or he would report it. I don't know.
口より先に手を動かしてください。口と手を一緒に動かすのは落語家だけ。ねえ。
Or Italians. The men around him didn't react, not knowing quite whether they should laugh. But when Oishi glared at them, they started mumbling out pain chuckles. Really? I mean, what the fuck are you guys doing right over here anyway? Like, this is kind of a sick joke to make your murderer, like, dig up the grave instead of doing it yourselves while they're straying Keiichi. I mean, he's a freaking child. Just who was this guy? Like, joking aside, letting us dig the graves ourselves to see the body. You should be the ones to do this. Like, what the fuck? I knew the world had changed after that night. But if I went even further back, didn't it start when this guy showed up? That was when our peaceful days had been taken from us. Ever since he showed up in Hinamizawa, things had been not. Well, there was that thing that was said about how Oishi may be Oyashiro's messenger, and he would bring, like, chaos. Everyone stopped smiling, and the world went crazy. And the ground under my feet gradually got harder and heavier. At this point, even I started to think something was odd. I hadn't buried him this deep on that night, have I? My exhaustion peaked, and I sat down on the spot.
いつまで掘ればいいんだよ。
最近の若い人は体力がありませんね。おい。
At Oishi's gesture, the men all pulled out their own sinister-looking shovels. Well, there you go. As I wished the days, one of them grabbed my collar, dragged me out of the hole, and threw me to the ground. Actually, this could be bad, because they're probably gonna dig the hole and carry the body away without us seeing the tattoo. In which case, it would have been better if we continued to to dig ourselves, Keiichi, because that way we wouldn't be near the body and we wouldn't be able to see the tattoo ourselves. I hope they were going to be able to see the tattoo while they carry the body. The rest of the men stepped into the hole I dug and started shoveling themselves. As I stared at them, dumbfounded, Oishi sauntered over and squatted down to look at me directly.
前原圭一さん。
Oishi-san?
あなたの趣味は雨の夜の穴掘りですかな？
Yeah. Keiichi is on a path of self-discovery, trying to discover like new passions and such. Maybe he has a talent for working at funerals and, you know, like in graveyards. When I didn't respond, Oishi took one of the tin buckets they were using to bail out the muddy water, scooped up some of it, and splashed the whole thing in my face.
今日は大雨ですから、これ以上いくら濡れても全然わかりませんね。
Oishi smiled to himself, then scooped up another bucketful of muddy water.
もう一回聞きますよ。あなたの趣味は雨の夜の穴掘りですかな？
そんな趣味のやついるもんか。
Splash. Oishi hit me with another bucketful of muddy water. What the fuck, Oishi? The pebbles in it stung.
あの穴を掘ると何が出てくるんですかな？私、花坂じいさんのここ掘れワンワンってのが昔から憧れでしてね。
As he spoke, he ran the bucket through the muddy water again, to splash in my face again.
あそこにどんな宝物が埋まってるんですかね？私にちょっとだけでも教えてくれませんか？
If you want to know, then dig on your own time. You fucking pig. I wasn't saying that out loud, but Oishi mercilessly drenched me in muddy water again anyway. Shit. Shit. If only you hadn't shown up, the world wouldn't have gone wrong. Ever since you showed up, things have been strange. Sadako got abused by her uncle. I ended up killing him, and the world went crazy. He was how it all began, because of this culprit. He splashed another bucket of mud in my face. My insides were seething with anger. Die. You die too. If I have some strange power to kill someone by cursing them, like with Takano-san, then you're dead. And you won't be Shiro-sama's curse. You will be mine. I'll curse you and kill you.
反抗的な目つきですね。これを機に少しそのあたりをお勉強してしまいましょうか。今は平和な時代ですがね。私があなたくらいだった頃は何でも鉄拳制裁が普通でして。
Oh. You surely must have experienced it yourself as well.
大石さん。
One of the digging men in wrinkles wiped some sweat off and called Oishi over. Oishi tossed the bucket away, then turned around with an evil grin on his face.
はいはい、何でしょうか。
これを見てください。
Acceptance, or maybe resignation. I wanted to say to them, so you blockheads finally found it. Yeah, that's right. I'm the one who killed him. But you're the police, so it's your own job to figure out who he is, right? Come on, prove to me that he's really Satoko's uncle.
何ですかこりゃ。
多分古い排水管ではないかと。 あそこの用水路につながっているようです。
ぶっ壊しちゃいましょうか。どうせ使ってない缶でしょ。
The men all exchanged glances. Then hesitantly broached another topic. Pipe?
大石さん、もうかなり手応えが固いです。これより深くってことはありえないと思います。
掘る場所を間違えました？
いえ、初めのうちは明らかに掘り返す感触でした。ですがこのくらいを掘った頃から急に硬くなりまして、多分もともと掘った穴よりも深く掘り進んだのだと思います。
じゃあつまり何ですか？ここには穴があって何もなく、ただそのまま埋め直されたと皆さんそうおっしゃるわけで。
What? What were they talking about? Let me see it. Let me see the hole. I need to see it with my own eyes.
こりゃ参ったな。ねえ、前原さん。
Wait, she grabbed my car and dragged me to the huge hole they dug. The man inside was like an ocean, and I couldn't see any drain pipe down there. One of the men started with a shovel, letting me hear it clang against something hard. There was no doubt I buried him right here. But I hadn't buried him this deep. I didn't dig deep enough to unearth an entire drain pipe. Is this some kind of sick joke? You gotta be kidding me. Like, again, multiple options right over here. Either it was all in Keiichi's mind, and we never killed him to begin with. Or it could very well be that the police came here first, in the forest, they found the lantern, and they actually moved the lantern somewhere else, making us think that the new location where the lantern is placed is where we buried the corpse, when actually it would be somewhere else. Like this would be some kind of sick joke to make us think that we never killed Teppei to begin with, when in actuality we did. But why would they do such a thing? Would they hide the murder of Teppei? No. How could they? What? What does this mean? So, then, this man, his corpse, what was it? Proof that I'd been successful on that night was gone. Gone. Then what on earth was I actually crazy after all? Just possessed by the delusion that I killed someone? That couldn't be. It was the unmistakable truth. It couldn't have been a hallucination. But now, the most important evidence, it had been an illusion, was gone. I killed him. I buried him. I had absolute unwavering confidence in that fact. Then, did I fail to kill him? After I left here, had he started breathing again, crawled out, and gone back to Satoko's house? Is that it? I had come here to see whether he had a tattoo or not, and yet the truth I unearthed was far more than that. Yesterday, what was I? I killed him. I buried him. There was no doubt. But for some reason he lived and crawled back out. That was impossible too. I'm so tired of hearing the word impossible over and over. I get it. That people don't like to play by the rules here in Hinamizawa. Then I'll kill you as many times as I need to. I'll keep killing you until you never show your face to Satoko again. Oishi and the others were muttering to each other. Eventually, their conversation ended, and Oishi came towards me. I mean, Oishi-san, my beloved. We didn't find like any corpse to begin with, so technically speaking, we never killed anybody to begin with. So that means that we're not a murderer. In that case, will you let us go, please? What did he want to say? What did he want to do? I stiffened, tensing up. And then Oishi just ignored me like I wasn't even there, and passed right by me. Unless the road has decided to fuck us over again, and maybe that was where we dug him up. But somehow Teppei ended up going into the sewage and just traversed somewhere else. That's the stupidest thing ever. We would have noticed that, of course, when we were digging the hole. And it's not like the pipe had a hole in it for Teppei to go inside to begin with. No. The other men too, they ignored me and shuffled away. Eventually, there was no longer a sign that anyone was around. And I returned to my quiet world of silhouettes. The one on the left there was me. Only the sound of the pouring rain filled up the sounds. What in the actual fuck? What in the actual flippity-doo-dah is this? Alright, let's see. Okinomiya Police Station Command Center Transmission Recording. June 20, 8:08 p.m.
こちら沖宮 PS 感度良好です。
車両ナンバー紹介をお願いします。獅子骨歯の4344。
副将獅子骨歯の4344。少々お時間もらえますがよろしいですか？
The license plate of the motorcycle?
お願いします。
Number match. Shishibone H4344. Owner. God damn it. Address. Hinamizawa Village, Shishibone. Unless it's Takano's. Vehicle make and model. Theft reports. None. Special mentions. Nothing of note.
沖宮 PS より大石社どうぞ。先ほどのナンバーが判明しました。大石社どうぞ。大石社応答願います。あれ？電波悪いのかな。大石社応答願出ませんね。
大石さんが車両紹介？誰の車だよ。
村人の車ですね。至って平凡な。
Okay, so it's not the motorcycle. Must be a car. Could it be Takano's?
何者だよ。大石さんが聞いてくるからにはただ者じゃないんだろ。
突起事項欄は完全に空欄ですね。S 号指定もなし。減点もなしだし。
パッシングでもされて腹が立ったんじゃないの？あの人、根に持つとなかなか忘れないタイプなんだよ。
Huh. Interesting. He said it smelled. He said the food smelled. He said it smelled because I smelled. Oh my god. No, 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 no. I don't wanna see this kind of perspective, please. He said I smell because I don't take baths. He said to take a bath 3 times a day because I was a smelly person. He said I had to stay in the bath for a long time every time. He must be possessed by something too. This is the same thing the man who died said. Why does he know what that man said before? That much is obvious. The same thing that possessed that man is now possessing him. Can't a sudden earthquake make a big hole in front of the house? If it did, you would definitely go and look into it. And then I just have to push him in. I won't give in until I get a chance. I won't give in. I won't cry. I won't give in. I won't cry. Ah, someone is apologizing again. What? Someone that possessed a previous person is possessing him? This must be Satoko. Who was she referring to besides Teppei?